And here we go.
And we're live.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and welcome once again to this very interesting and very fun All Hallows Eve edition to the CCS Fan stream.
Okay.
And we have some interesting people here, and let's get into the topics here. Let's get into them, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Well, who is here in this live little crazy little specting room we have here? Introduce yourselves.
I guess I'll start then. Hello, everyone. My name's Omega Blaster, and I'm just here for the first time, I guess, with this. I actually think I haven't really been in the podcast since the first fan serve whatever fucking thing we did forever ago. So it feels good to be here.
Okay. Anyone else?
Well, my name is Mr. Unknown Alien. One of my first fan streams.
Okay. And the sounds of silence.
I'm Tundra, and this is my third fan stream, and the one I've been looking forward the most.
Alrighty. So, okay, going to. All right. Let's see. Neo Kazama, are you here?
Okay.
Yeah. He'll come back, hopefully. The rabbit must return. And we have Kahuna Drake. So, with the 5 heads of doom. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Horror. The thing that has, one of the most interesting things in the realm of fiction. Be it
and
movies,
one of the things I know best.
Yeah, being in movies, novels, television, books, music, and games. A lot of them. And some would say horror has been hitting a bit of some would say a down spell, but
maybe
also
a
snag, but also some would say it has hit a bit of a renaissance. So with the latest of the Blum house, these small films making a lot of money in the mainstream, in the mainstream audiences and such. Me myself, I'm not much of a horror fan, but I do occasionally watch some of them. I mean, one of my first horror films I watched as a kid was Alien. Actually, I think it was the first real horror film I saw. I think Gremlins was one. Critters. These are the stuff I saw as a kid, ladies and gentlemen.
Classics.
Yes. Critters. Gremlins. Let's see what else I saw. Oh, yeah, like I said, Aliens. Stuff like that.
Like 3
Yeah. It's all 3 Alien movies: Alien, Aliens, and Alien 3. And also. Predator. Oh yes, Predator.
Yeah.
Woo!
I think for me, like actually one of my first horror films back in the day, I actually think probably started off with I think it might either been Scream or one of the Halloweens. Good times.
Yeah. Horror 4. Anyone else with the first horror, first scary film you ever saw?
I can't remember mine.
Well, maybe how about any of your favorites? If we can work more than just like the first one we ever saw.
I don't know. I think my favorite one of all time is The Shining, and then after that, Hellraiser 1 and 2.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Oh, but speaking of Hellraiser, you can't forget one of the classic ones, Candyman.
Oh yeah, I remember Candyman.
That's a very good one.
That's
that one.
That's an oldie for me.
Yeah,
Well,
I think my first horror movie that I ever watched as a little kid was Hellraiser. Because I remember when I was watching it, I remember the scene where the guy gets stitched with the chains, and the line says, "Jesus wept," and he gets ripped into pieces, and that's so fucking awesome. And it made me a gore hound, a horror fan, and honestly, I just couldn't get enough of it. I just wanted more of it.
The first horror film I ever saw, and it's still my favorite to date, has to be Jaws. By far.
Woohoo!
Not bad.
Yeah, I think mine was Jaws, and second was Alien, because my little brother, he absolutely loved those films. He loved everything about them. Like recently, he bought the Aliens, like the all HD collection. It's like pretty good.
Ooh.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. But you know, when you think of horror and such, it is when you think of those you know, movies and everything. There were pretty much in the 80s and early 90s. You had a huge. I think it really started. You know, some would say it was the huge success of The Exorcist way back in the day, which haven't seen fully. I've seen, you know, the clips and everything, and I saw some of the stuff. But you know, I gotta sit down and watch that movie one of these days. But it seems like that really the wellspring of that, and Poltergeist, which I've seen, all those great and interesting films. But nowadays, it's
It's just the same fucking jump scare garbage every year. Year is the same movie.
jump
Hey,
scares, jump
Yeah,
scares.
it's been a lot of that lately. Me and some of my buddies decided to go back and actually try to watch some of the movies that actually had come out recently. I remember actually one of them was Paranormal Activity that we watched, and it was terrible.
Oh.
Wow.
I've seen porn with better stories than that.
I'm surprised because I watched a little bit of Paranormal Activity. I thought it was at least somewhat decent. It was something interesting, you know, the demon and all this type of stuff. They ran to the ground, of course, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
The fifth dimension in 3D with found footage. Oh yeah, that will work out great. Hey Duka, you want to see a 3D found footage?
You know, that to
To
me,
me, it just felt like a lot of complaining and not a lot really happening. It would have been better if I've seen someone get thrown through a window or something. Maybe that would have been a little bit more entertaining. But no, all we got was them screaming at nothing. That's all we got.
I think the part of the problem is because found footage, the found footage genre is very hard to work with. And I'd say that Paranormal Activity was like the renaissance of this genre because we all know that it started with Blair Witch Project.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then comes Wreck in 2007, which it's my favorite found footage film. I think.
I thought it was you know, what was that thing Record or it was remade in 2008 shot for shot.
Oh, Quarantine.
Oh yeah,
Quarantine.
Quarantine.
Yeah.
I watched it and it's just a bland. It's something
They
that
took the religious text out of it. They took all the stuff from there, and even still, it was completely lazy. They just ripped the stuff out of it, and that's to me one of the worst things about it. They rip all these things that would be interesting, be it like religious stuff or say, you know, some things that would you know, something really really horrifying. And they just make it, well, let's just make it kiddie-fied, you know, something that would just scare the teenagers, but then just really people forget about it the next day. Not real,
really.
true horror.
I miss true
Yeah.
horror days where they build up suspense. Like, you know that something's following these people and like it's messing with their heads,
Alien.
making them like actually physically scared
Rosemary's
psychologically.
Baby.
Not just like,
Yeah.
oh god, it popped up in front of me. I'm so scared. Friggin', it's not scary when it's just a jump scare by itself.
Oh yeah, it's again the worst aspect of this is the, you know,
It's
the
a
horror
cheap tactic.
Yeah, it's cheap tactics, and the worst aspect, the worst thing I don't like about the modern day horror films, in fact, I can say most films, is that there are really no likable characters. There is no likable character
No
whatsoever.
one to relate to. You don't really care if anybody dies, and like
You're rooting for the monster or whatever the psychological event that's happening.
Yeah.
It's, to me, that's the worst thing. It's like, why can't I root and relate to these people? I mean, it's frustrating because I look at, say, modern day type of stuff, like say The Sixth Sense. You could really relate to those people. You can relate for them, you know, and seeing how, wow, this is a really good movie, and all this stuff, you know, Sixth Sense, and then you know, then what happened? Say, for example, at M. Night Shyamalan did The Happening, and well,
Oh God.
Oh no,
We do not speak of The Happening.
the plants are gonna kill us all.
the day of the
Watch
Trilfids,
out.
everyone.
Daisies are evil.
Watch out, James Cameron was right. The environment will kill us.
Oh, why did
What
we
about
listen
those
to Al
killer
Gore?
space tomatoes? That was a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, but okay.
Yeah,
Get
it's
back on.
but yeah, there is some the horror. Yeah, but
The thing that bothers me about modern horror, that's not anymore. And right, did anyone saw the film, or am I the only one who watched the film?
Am I the only one who heard it sound like you were drunk for a second because of that connection?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
slowed down and you like sped up or something.
yeah, like something like shoot. Are you sure? Maybe I don't know. Maybe some ghosts came into stream. I don't
There's
know.
a
what happened.
ghost in the street.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. My voice is kind of. It's
To be honest, that was awesome. So you don't need to apologize.
Well, thank you, Kate. Now
Terrible.
Jason Blum's gonna make a film about a ghost on Google
Yeah,
Hangout.
it sounds awesome.
Oh wait, that already
God.
happened. Wasn't that Ghost on Skype? What was that movie?
Oh god, that's right.
I hate
There was that one really stupid movie where it's like just everyone on a Skype call and then they all just start getting killed for some odd reason.
Like there's this one person who got killed by a blender.
Oh yeah.
Unfriended.
Brenda.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what it was. Unfriended.
It was stupid, and I just like, oh my gosh.
They're
Yeah.
aiming at millennials. I swear.
Yeah.
And they're all stupid
But-
and all
but,
unlikable. Again, that's the problem.
Yeah, they can't close Skype for no reason. They can't exit out of it. No.
And they're doing it on a Monday. And we're doing it on a Monday too, so we're connected now.
Oh no.
No way, I didn't bring the blender here. I'm fine.
Yeah, I have my toothpick just in case I need to stab myself with the eye, in case the ghost comes. Ooh.
Yeah. And by the way, I love the fact every one of those people were just bad people. So you don't feel any guilt whatsoever about how they die.
Yeah, that's that moment where like, you know what? Fuck you. I don't care if you guys die now.
You literally tormented the people, and then that's the way you should go.
Poetic justice.
Woo! Yeah. Yeah, but here's the thing: the entire movies of Jason Blum just created a floodgate for these filmmakers, who are amateurs and brand new. Which I don't mind because I don't mind new talent as long as they can bring something interesting. But that's the
Yeah,
problem.
we want to bring something good to the table.
Yeah, but that's the problem with the whole Blumhouse movies. They have really engaging concepts, but they're either executed by cheap jump scares, filmmakers who have no idea what the fuck are they doing, or better yet, they just throw plot conveniences, plot cliches, and voila. It's crappy, but it still makes money. For example,
one
of the first. Yes, no, it's okay. And also we interrupt way too much in these live streams. Apparently,
I think it's just
Yeah.
something that happens to the best of us.
Oh yeah, it really does. I mean, one of the first movies I saw from Blumhouse was The Purge, and the reason why I watched it is because I fucking love the concept. I mean, the idea of The Purge where these people can relinquish their addiction of violence, their bloodthirst to other people's, and it could have been the modern equivalent of A Clockwork Orange, exploring the themes of free will, racism, humanity, anything interesting. But the first one was just a generic home invasion thriller about a family with a bunch of idiotic people, a dumbass kid who lets a homeless guy in their homes, and he almost gets his family killed. That's the whole plot of the whole movie. While the second movie tries to be Escape from New York, and the third movie is basically pandering to the Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton debates.
Oh God.
Like,
Yeah,
no. I'm not kidding. Even the writer and director James DiMonaco wrote the third movie based around the whole what if we're moving America and they made The Purge. I am not kidding.
So what would
He
happen if
literally
Trump was
said that.
president?
Purge.
I don't know. The Purge.
A haunted wall movie, maybe.
Wall of
Oh
Death.
my God, yes.
And the ghosts and goblins are going
The
to
wall
be the
of
ones who pay
Mexican.
for it. It's going to be a lovely ghost wall.
You know, a lot of the same stuff really can be said about like horror games nowadays too. Like they've been pretty lacking themselves.
Yeah, and Trencher
walking simulators.
1375. What's up? Yeah, someone actually is watching us live.
Hey,
Cool.
And he just says this: the characters deserve to die. The characters deserve to die is a side effect of the horror movie genre being taken over by gorehounds, which I agree.
Yeah, that's the
but
problem.
you can,
They're not horror movies. They're slashers.
yeah, and there's a place for slashers, but let's have some likable people, you know? Because hey, if a movie about Alien was filled with people that were unlikable bastards, no one would watch it. Oh wait, we already had one that was called Prometheus, but whatever.
Prometheus, yeah.
Oh God, I was so disappointed by that movie. I was so disappointed.
I love you, by the way, Trencher. You're awesome, man. You are. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. I don't have a life. Neither do we.
But anyway,
yeah.
go back to games. Well, there were a couple of them. I grew up on the Resident Evil, Evil 2. Actually, I actually started with that game. Was really good in the action genre. I mean, people say, "Oh, it was horrible." Like Resident Evil 4 started this craziness. No, it was actually gone back. If you look at Resident Evil 2, they'll have more of the action, like fighting back with these monsters and everything. But I still
Final
enjoy
boss
it.
fight.
Yeah, you know.
Am I one of those people who actually thinks like that? You know, like when it comes to like horror games, that do jump scares right? Maybe by the phrase does fall under that category a bit.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, I know like it's very like a lot of people have mixed opinions on that part, like especially the people who are just like at studios. But I feel like with Sister Location, it's something different, very different to what they've done in the past, and I really liked it.
They're trying something at least. Like they're trying, like you can move at least instead of sitting in a chair waiting for death.
I think the reason about the whole game, because honestly, games are more about empowerment. You're not going to find most games like Amnesia is more like, okay, this monster's coming after you. What do you got to do? There's this, the horror stuff out there, and the elements of like you're powerless. That type of you can't fight, you can't do anything. In fact, I think there was a Jason Voorhees.
Oh yeah, the Friday the 13th game being made right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been keeping tabs on that for a while. I'm super excited for that game.
And exactly, you can play as Jason, but you're playing as what would you? I mean, again, he is the
the survivors.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. You're hiding, you're doing everything, making sure Jason. That to me, that powerfulness, and yet you have one player as Jason going in and beating the crap out. That to me, that it actually works. You're as the big villain trying to, each round trying to find and kill these camp counselors.
Yeah, I remember actually that. Have you guys actually heard of the game Dead by Daylight? That was actually supposed to be the Jason game. Like it was supposed to be Jason going after these few people, but I think they decided to switch it off to something else, and like it became something much greater. To the point where instead of just having Jason in it, they actually just instead went with freaking he's actually a DLC character now, and I've been able to personally try him myself, and it's an amazing game. Even if it's in early development, it's actually like
something I'll look into. Also, Trencher says, one hard games that really work as well as the haunted house, and also says, case in point, when Resident Evil got good controls, the game stopped being scary, which I disagree, because I don't like that argument. Well, tank controls will make the enhance it. I'm like, no, I want good controls. I mean, I want to move and do all this type of stuff and not be frustrated, and actually because I believe and that honestly a good horror, I mean, I could look and say the first Dead Space when when you remember playing that game before, they ruined it. EA ruined it with Dead Space
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
You can play it with a dot, the lights off and everything like that. You hear all these things, it gets numb by the end of the game, but yeah, you felt really scared. The controls are really good too. So again, you can have good controls, but you can also have to have that ambiance, that what's happening and everything else. Personally, I really wish the monsters weren't appeared all that much. I wish someone actually can remake it and have the monsters, they weren't actually monsters, just hallucinations or something. Just really build up the psychological stuff too. Instead of just
Yeah.
being
Yeah,
the
that was
monsters.
actually
Games. It
that
also
was
reminds me
actually
of the games
for
too.
that was actually
Yeah, true
for
space
Resident Evil
horror.
4.
Yeah, Resident
Yeah,
Evil 4 is
but
actually
if
very fun.
that whole the psychological horror thing, that was originally the concept for Resident Evil 4, because if I remember, the original plot was supposed to be about Leon trying to find a daughter, but unfortunately, Leon gets infected with this virus that allows him to see ghosts. And thus, you can't fight them, only with the light, and then you shoot them. But that concept was dropped in favor of the Las Plagas.
Yeah, I was very interested in the original Resident Evil 4. Oh, got Nikki the Rabbit here. What's up?
Oh, hey, that's my friend Nikki.
Hey.
Hey, Nikki.
Well,
It says,
sorry.
yeah, he says, how did what ruined Dead Space 3? Let's see, microtransactions and the action, trying so hard to be a Michael
Yeah.
Bay movie. Just they took everything that was actually good from Dead Space 1. And I haven't played Dead Space 2, but I heard some good things about that. But Dead Space 3 just took everything and they just ripped it apart, they destroyed it, which I'm not surprised.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
It's like
I think that
basically them trying to milk like the story and everything out of it as much as they can out of it by that point. It was just horrible.
Yeah.
that's the problem with both horror in both video games and movies. Because once the developers or the studios learn that people will basically pay for anything, they're going to start releasing a lot of shit without putting a lot of effort into it, and that equals a lot of money. And this actually reflects something that I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to research a few articles on Jason Blum on Google. Most of them were what I can describe ass licking by publishers, because they think that, oh, this guy he's revolutionizing the industry because he's making a lot of movies. Yeah, they're shitty movies. I mean, yeah, the guy has potential. He made Paranormal Activity. He was the producer of Whiplash. But the films he's made, especially Ouija and
Oh gosh, actually,
Friend Request,
I think that's
Yes.
actually a WWE produced film.
yeah, that's the problem. Now, not only the studios and the developers know it, but even the journalists think that it's quantity over quality, and it isn't. It shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, and you have, say, for example, James Wan, who has many of horror films to his credit. I mean, for example, he had let's see, Saw. He was the Saw franchises 1, 2, and 3. He let's see, also did Insidious, and I heard that was a really good movie as well. It's small budgeted, 1.5 million, which something that the industry really needs to do. Low budget films, and they made a ton. In fact, it got made over around 90 million. And I heard is actually. I mean, I heard it actually is pretty good. And he's working on the Aquaman. He's actually working on the Aquaman movie right now. And actually, here's a crazy thing. He's I'm not kidding you. Disney's actually trying to do a remake of The Rocketeer, and he wants to do it.
Oh,
That's one of my favorite movies. I'd be curious.
But surprised, seriously. I don't know why.
Remakes nowadays get me worried. That's all.
Yeah, that whole topic of Disney, that's for another day, because I have so much to talk about the adaptations, but I don't know.
Oh gosh.
The whole James Wan, James Wan Okay, the Conjuring movies, I care for them at all. They're not that good. I really wasn't scared by them. It's just a typical haunted house movie. That's pretty much it. I didn't see what the fuss was all about because if I remember correctly, I watched the film just because a lot of people were losing their mind, like, "Holy shit, a freaking ghost movie, the most amazing thing ever! Oh my god!" Wah! And then I decided to check it out, and then it was packed full of people, and every time there was a creepy scene, like this, ah,
But
ah,
it,
ah, throughout the entire fucking film, and I was like, really?
mm. So it's the ghost house like ride. Remember the
Yeah,
old?
and
I remember when the old CCS podcast, dredged this thing up. Talked about it was just wasn't scary. It was it was like okay, just a horror thing, nothing actually scary. And I think
let's see.
BMass said his first horror game was actually Luigi's Mansion. Pretty good game, but seeing how the
I
ghost
can relate.
yeah. Seeing what the ghost, those realist, not real, but seeing how the ghosts, how they died and how it was really creepy. And then, Nintendo, well, kiddified it. But then again, that's what Nintendo does. But you know what? Miyamoto wanted that sequel, and by gosh, he got the clout. So to do it.
The sequel was kind of
That
sequel will never happen.
it's not canon.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
when you look at games, horror games though really have there are some really good stuff there. I mean, there's some good indie titles, like I said, Amnesia, but the AAA stuff. I mean, other than this brand new one that Resident Evil seems to be going back to, looking more of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre type of thing. The
PT?
crazy. PT, which are you sure? I don't want Konami coming in and shutting the stream down, but and such. But yeah, that looked pretty good. I mean, seeing the horror, the unnatural things. But now, when you see Resident Evil, well, again, before they had that nice trailer, it was more action, it was more explosions, it was convoluted stories. From Resident Evil 5 to Resident Evil 6.
Yes, the giraffe looking
Evil Umbrella
Christ.
Corporation.
Christ's sakes, the final boss in Resident Evil 6 is a fucking transformer. It's fucking Grimlock.
Grimlock need
Why do I get the
better
feeling it's a good thing I didn't
movies.
play that game? It's fucking Grimlock.
At least it was a better boss battle than Wesker. That battle
Gosh.
with Wesker was dry.
Wesker.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
gotta say,
the
why
quick
is
one.
he doing all the teleporting, powers the same way Ganon was doing right back in the Link animated cartoon? Yeah, he can't transport them and break them. I'm like, dude, stop doing that. Stop doing
Because
all the.
Resident-
Yeah,
Because the Resident Evil movies did it. That's the only
No,
reason.
he was like that before. He was super powered in Code Veronica. He was, seriously, that was actually a pretty good game. By the way, Steve Burnside. Was it Steve Burnside? Was the whiny little bitch on there? I gotta look this up.
I think so.
Yeah,
See. To Google.
To Google! Yes!
Resident Evil Wiki.
Yeah, Steve Burnside was.
Let's see.
But yeah, back on the whole subject of everything though, just to continue this along. Like you guys are easily seeing that like in the beginning, a lot of this stuff is like it started off good, and then when they start like pumping out sequels and stuff like that, it starts to lose its luster. It starts to get watered down. Like that's really what I was saying before about like horror games and everything, how they're sort of having that little bit of a dip, It's been kind of
They want to pump it out there
They're
right there.
just generic now.
Yeah, really.
And you can tell, well, think of gaming and such, speaking of that, Resident Evil, did you know Devil May Cry was originally going to be a sequel to Resident Evil, but it was just so radically a departure. They just said, you know what, let's make it to its own series. And it was doing pretty well, as I don't know, it really wasn't horror, but more of an action with like demons and zombies and such. Then you get to DMC, the reboot, and oh boy. I can see they really thought. I think the early trailers of him being more psychological and such, which would have been interesting because having that type of combat into more of a psychological saying, which is real, which is not, I think could be really good. But what they did, yeah.
Yeah, I know why they did a rating to sites Capcom and Keiji Inafune. They wanted to reboot DMC to a more Western, so they got Ninja Theory to develop the game, and there's, like you said, a psychological take on the genre. And the design of Dante was gonna be more rougher and edgy. Gonna be a very design. Capcom and Inafune did not like the idea, so they scrapped it.
I think your audio is going down.
Yeah.
Down.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
The fucking phone, this phone is so awful. I think it doesn't hear you guys. Hello, I'm stuck in a fucking hangout. Apparently the ghost is hijacking my calls.
Oh, but anyway, it's
He's hijacking my calls. It's my dad.
but yeah, it's weird. It's to me one of the most frustrating things about the reboot was just the bad dialogue. I mean, when we took on the succubus, it was just this, the dialogue was "fuck you, fuck you, fuck you."
Fuck you.
Grown men,
hell.
grown men, and when grown people wrote this and thought this was great. I'm like, I've read fan fictions on fanfiction.net, DreamVan Art. Heck, I've read stuff from LiveJournal actually have more, more tact than that, man. And that's saying something. It's like they just went. What does that tell you?
Sorry.
I'm just wondering, are video game developers thinking action is the same thing as horror when they put like spooky, scary monsters in it, like where you just blow them to smithereens? Is that considered horror to them now, or what is this now?
It's the American way, like kill the monster and everything, and I'm frustrated. It's frustrating, people.
It's them damn zombies. They're taking our jobs. We have no more jobs. It's the zombies. They're taking them.
Build a
The
wall.
zombie.
Keep the zombies out. And
they're gonna pay for it, right? Oh God! But yeah, zombies. Oh, the zombies. I gotta say, I can see why people like them. They're very they come at you. They swarm. It's a nice thing of. I think it was actually a critique on capitalism. Yeah, that's
Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, and everything like that. But it's been overused to a point that I don't care for. I mean, I stopped playing like any type. I'm just getting back into zombie games and such like that. Like say Dead Rising 1 and 2. I haven't played 3 yet, but it's like, oh my gosh, it's just enough. It's enough is enough, man. How many?
Sorry.
Go ahead, man. I was done anyway.
I used to be a big fan of, I still am a big fan of the Romero zombie films. And ever since, every time they got a new zombie film out on cinemas, I was very excited. But until the point they made a fucking movie of a love story of a zombie and a human, I said, oh, fuck this. I'm dumping this shit.
I really think when The Walking Dead is finished up, I think the zombie bubble will just burst and they'll move on to something else.
To me, it's already bust. I stopped. I tried just, it just gets to a point. So it's been, in fact, I think Walking Dead was actually suffering some ratings just going down until I think, Glenn finally bit the dust,
Spoiler alert.
I don't care. So I don't care.
The internet knows about it already.
Basically.
And everyone was sitting there crying on Facebook and Twitter. And meanwhile, these are the same people who mock me for mock wrestling fans for liking wrestling. And I'm like, y'all know that's fake, right? Glenn ain't dead. The actor ain't dead, right? You know that, right? They're not dead.
You're not actually dead, so calm your
and they
tits
all-
and just watch the show.
Yeah, they're sitting there crying, like, why did I do like this, man? Why y'all? And they're mad. And then you have parents, the PTA and such, were so mad about the violence. Like, what about the children? I'm like, kids should not be watching Walking Dead anyway.
Yeah, it's not meant for the demographic.
I love that their moral guardians are trying so hard. Even though if they did win, no one's watching. I mean, that's like, all right, fine. The people walk there, okay, we'll just put this online. We'll put this on Netflix. What you gonna do then? No one cares. Yeah. It's on cable anyway. It's on, they don't care. No.
Yeah, if you're that kind of parent that's just like, you know what, I'm just going to let my kid watch TV. It'll be fine. I'll just be out for a couple hours. And you just come back to watching them. They're like, you come back to find them watching, like, The Walking Dead and shows like that. You're a bad parent.
It's funny because I went to Walmart one time and they had the governor with his collection of severed heads in the kids' toy section. Like all the Walking Dead, all the Walking Dead stuff was in the toy section for some reason, even though it's not.
Yeah, connect the whole set. I know there's some, man children around, and I honestly am one of them, but I would not be. I'm like, why are you gonna put that in the kid? Like, I just can't see. Like, oh, mommy, I want the severed head one. Can you do it for me, please? Like,
I want to be the governor for Halloween.
Yeah. Or Negan, which that's gonna be real fun. Yeah, I just can't wait for those type of things. That or all the little girls want to dress up as Harley Quinn, which
Oh no.
God.
Well, I don't know what to say about that because my parent, when I was 2 years old, my parents let me watch everything. Even if there was a fucking sex scene on the TV, they would just be like, eh.
Oh,
What?
but
I think it actually helps children. It helps them grow accustomed to knowing that this is something natural. And
violence.
even if it's a guy who's chopping off heads and storing them in containers.
No, you want to know something that's actually fucked up about like people nowadays? Like here, I just had my nephew come over just the other day, and he was actually like playing around with my brother, roughhousing and everything. And when my brother was knocked on the ground, defeated, my little mind you, this kid's 3. He's 3 years old. Goes up to my brother and slits his throat with his thumb. That is some fucked up play fighting right there.
Okay.
Oh boy, someone needs to stop. I did okay, no.
Whoa.
Wind that.
Hold up. You're telling me your 3-year-old brother.
No, my 3-year-old nephew.
Oh, nephew.
Oh wow. Oh, I did screw it. He can do what he wants.
No, don't worry. You're free. He's going to jail for killing his brother with his fucking nails.
No, it was all in playing, but it freaked my brother out. My brother was like, "What? Where did he get that? Like, where did he learn that?" And I'm worried for myself because I'm like, he's not going to grow up right if he thinks that's okay.
Well, each one yes and no, and all these type of be attentive. Just watch him. If he carries say knives and stabbing weapons, just say just take another 5 steps back. But other than that, that's all you can do.
Well, no, yeah, it's not like he's a bad kid or anything. It's just like he's never done that before until now, and he watches Power Rangers. He watches little kid cartoons. He doesn't watch stuff where he sees people get decapitated, but freaking sling somebody's throat, really?
That's hardcore, man.
It really is.
But that's the thing with horror, really. I mean, with the Blumhouse movies, the horror games, and hell, even to horror literature these days, there's no variety anymore. As such, you can. It's just the same thing. I mean, I posted a thread regarding the new Blumhouse production film called Get Out, which is the new film by Jordan Peele. And Duke, what do you think of the whole film?
Oh joy! It's a trailer. I mean, it's a trailer. So
just tell the whole plot, dude. I mean,
well, it's basically a black man and with his white girlfriend, which I guarantee is.
I remember.
Let him speak.
Yeah, it's fine. It's probably pissed off most of the people, most black women already and such. If you look at the people from, Luke Cage and everything, the actors who played Luke Cage, but that's a different story. But and then he goes. This is the black man and woman go down to the South with his say, oh, we need to talk, trying to get to his family and everything. And well, let's just say it gets to the whole Stepford Wives type of thing. Like you had the brother come in like, oh, that funny little hat that Cam Newton is wearing nowadays in his press conferences, and basically it's like turns around and he's like, you gotta get out, man, you gotta get out, like he's malfunctioning and everything, and I was like, basically, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the Stepford Wives, this is the Stepford all over again, and they're trying to do all this trippy type of stuff. I'm like, no, I just don't. I'm not gonna watch that. I just like, nope. I will see Keanu. I heard that's actually pretty good, but nah, unless the trailers, because hey, trailers can be deceiving, and it could be good, but then again, it's coming out where, in January, in February. Let me see.
Yeah, February. Black History Month.
Wow. Joy. Wait, let me see. Is Black Panther coming out? Let's see. What is it?
Next year,
this year. Please tell me it's this year. Oh God, dang it! It's next year. Oh, it's in July. So
it's not too far.
Yeah, like
July in 2018. So but that's something like it's something. But yeah, I got to look forward to that. So yeah, that movie's gonna suck because Hollywood loves to put that crap on that It's like the January and February movies. You know what? They are the move. Basically it's the Hollywood version of just okay. Let's just get the crap out of the way. After the Oscars and everything else, let's get all the crap out of the way and move all into the big movie crap that we're gonna have. The big movie movies and now the summer movie season, which is including what? Including March now, since DC seems to be fine releasing their movies in March. Just saying. What's Wonder Woman coming out?
If I remember, Wonder Woman was going to release in March. But yeah, about the whole Get Out thing, basically it's Stepford Wives, but just replace the woman with white people and the main leads as the black people, and what you get is the whole white people.
Oh wait, it's June 9th actually.
To control blacks.
Oh yeah,
I forgot about that one horror movie that's coming out.
Oh yeah, the one movie is coming out June 2nd, 2017. So
no, yeah, I just remember about like the movie that my sister just showed me the trailer for it, where like I think we were talking about. I'm pretty sure I might have zoned out for a minute, but like this black dude and his white girlfriend go to the neighborhood, and like his parents making all like anybody who's black like brainwashes them and something. I don't really remember. I'm pretty sure he's zoned out for like a good 3 minutes or so.
Yes. But anyway, horror films and all this type of it is a genre that has been repeating. But then again, you could look at other genres that have repeated and doing things itself. It's there's always going to be like repeat stuff, but it's how good the quality is. I heard It Follows is actually pretty good as well, even though it's basically STD. Those like it's the STD, awareness the movie, which just is creepy on itself. Which that's basically the plot of what it follows. Like you have to have sex with someone, and then if you have sex with somebody, and the demon will follow you or something.
I heard
that's the plot. That's the plot of It Follows. Let's see.
Yeah, I heard it's a remake of an old Victorian horror story called Casting of the Runes or something like that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yep. Just
yeah, so it's
sex instead of stones, I guess.
For that V card, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, yeah. So if you have sex with someone, so again, it's a violent like STD warning ad.
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. K, you're doomed.
But again, I'd say there are good horror films out there. I think again, I think some of the Blumhouse films does work. I think there's some good stuff there. And I heard Insidious. I watched some of it. I think I really enjoyed some of that stuff. I can see why some people don't like some of that. But again, it's the horror genre. Could say it's having a bit of a renaissance because of these type of films. And the Paranormal Activities, the Blair Witch, which had a remake again where it looks like it's somewhat decent.
I saw it. It wasn't good.
Oh, well.
At least I didn't find it good.
Did the trailers only show like some parts that look interesting and then the same thing like they always do?
There was a horror game franchise based off the Blair Witch universe.
Really?
Yep. There was like 3 games, I think, made for the PC back in like the early 2000s.
Huh.
They kind of go deeper into the mythology, I guess, but it's, from what I could tell, seems like whoever the holder of the franchise, they just gave the development studios, I think it was Nocturne, they just gave them free reign of the mythology, so they just kind of build on. So you actually get to play like in, I think, 1930s, present day, and then back to where Ellie Kedward was still alive.
I might check that out. But anyway, about 10 Cloverfield Lane. I thought that was a really good type of horror.
Well, I still haven't watched it. Do you guys?
Very good. I recommend
This
it.
is actually the first time I've heard of it.
Oh man, this is a really good movie.
I'll check it out.
Yeah,
I was iffy on the film after I watched Cloverfield and the movie that called Cloverfield. I was kind of like iffy on that.
Nah, it's a lot more. It's more. I get they're trying to do what Halloween wanted to do.
Oh, Mr. K dropped out again.
Yep,
Oh,
there you
dear.
go.
The ghost got him.
Oh dear.
I told you he was a goner.
Google House Ghost.
Well, I think Cloverfield was another example that you can take something that you don't have a lot of things to do with, being the found footage genre, and do something clever and original with it.
Yes.
The problem is that something can't die out because horror films have been since the 30s, which is what I consider the peak of the horror genre. And even nowadays, though in a small quantity, we still get very good horror films.
Oh yes, and what about The Shallows? I heard there's actually really good from has anyone watched that movie? I heard some good things about that.
I think it looked
I
good
didn't
to
mean
me.
to.
Yeah, it's made over $100 million, and it was made under 17. Made around budget was 17. It was basically it's just a woman fighting against a shark, but one-on-one. It's a surfing movie with and they're stuck with the shark and everything. It's like a somewhat modern take on Jaws, but it's really good. I hear, really, really good, and I can't wait to see that and everything.
Yeah, for me, I'm more of the kind of guy who really appreciates the classic horrors. Like for me, like just last week, I actually watched the old Blob movie and enjoyed the crap out of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I also actually realized something. Like, I haven't watched too many horror movies where a kid actually dies. And there's a kid in there that gets eaten by this blob thing, and it's horrifying. Like, he tries to get back out, but he's all skeleton-y and all, like, burnt up looking. Like, it was...
Oh,
like,
yeah, you're talking
jarring
about
to
the
me.
80s Blob, right? Or
Blob, the older one.
oh, yeah.
Original.
Yeah, it was a good
the
movie.
old stuff right there. Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I wish it was more like that. But again, maybe we're selective about that. And, we're selective about that because there was always bad horror films out there.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, one movie that came out was Boo or Medea Halloween, which, oh, God, no.
Oh, God.
No.
Ugh.
Oh, by the way, it
please.
actually beat out Inferno. By the way,
Huh.
that Tom Hanks movie.
I like those movies.
Yeah.
But quality does not equal quantity because it's 23% on Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah, it's still winning weeks and everything.
Though sometimes the problem isn't that movies that movies don't want to explore other fields. Sometimes it's the audience who doesn't want to explore other fields. And the best example I can come up with this is the Halloween franchise. We got the first two with Michael Myers. And I remember when I was a kid, I was going to watch Halloween 3, and I was pissed off about it because where's Michael Myers? Years later, I start thinking, you know what? That's actually pretty cool. I mean, to not have this entire line of series about just one character and trying to go into other fields. After a few years, I started thinking it, and I said, you know what? That's something pretty cool. But back in the time, everybody hated it because there was no Michael Myers, so they had to bring him back again and again and again and again and again.
Yeah. By the way, it was the older Blob movie from the 50s. That was not the one you saw. I think there was actually old Blob movie from the 50s, man. The later ones in the 80s, that's what you're talking about. The 80s remake, Red Blob, the kid. There was actually a Blob in the 50s, man. Same thing as, The Thing. The Thing for Another World. Then you have The Thing, and then the 2011 one, which was completely horrible. Also, yes, when you look at the horror genre of movies and such, talking about that, quality and such, I did not like Halloween 3. I watched that and I watched it again. I didn't like it, and I don't really care for it. The only thing is that meme of Happy Halloween, Silver. I'm like, that's it. I still, I like the idea of an anthology, but I think that was a pretty bad start from it.
Yeah. Well, sorry to say this. Hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I actually have to get going, you guys. It's been really fun talking to everybody, and I'm sorry to leave kind of early, but my brother needs the computer, and
in fact, I think we're about to close up shop. I think we already said our pieces. Anything else that people want to say? But
Well, I guess the whole thing going off movies now, like a lot of the crap being kind of drowning the good stuff out, is the same thing that kind of happened to horror publishing back in the day. Like, I guess if you wasn't on the wave with Stephen King back in the 80s and the 90s, you kind of missed out as a horror writer.
Yeah.
Because now I'm finding out, working on my horror novel, that it's now moved to independent publishing or small presses. And it's funny because a lot of mainstream publishers don't like to use the term horror when they're marketing books. They always like to say it's dark fantasy or supernatural thriller or something like that.
They're looking for the next Twilight. They're looking for the next Twilight. Which,
great.
Which should we even go after that, or we're just because honestly, at that point, every one of them mamas talked about how bad Twilight is. So, do we want to go right through the coals one more time, or we just want to end it now?
I think we said our pieces, really.
All right. It's been fun, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks you so much once again for joining us on this CCS streams and all this good stuff. Trencher and Nikki the Rabbit and everyone else who still is listening to us not live anymore. How dare you not listen to us live? But yeah, thank you so much for listening and watching this right now. Anyway, this is Duke CT here. Peace and love.
Happy Halloween.
See you. Yes, happy Halloween. See you when we see y'all.
Happy Day of the Dead.
Yes. I think that's over with. All right, but anyway, it's been nice. So catch y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.